Hey guys, it's Julia. Welcome back to my channel. So today, I want to expose myself.
And
I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes, and I love reviewing eyeshadow for you guys. I love trying out different formulas, and I love creating eyeshadow looks. However, I get really easily excited whenever I get a new eyeshadow palette in stock. I kind of start neglecting a bunch of other things. Because the makeup world just moves at such a fast pace, like I don't even remember the drama that went on last year, let alone palettes that I bought last year, reviewed, and then new things came along. So today I went through my palette collection and I found 10 palettes that I legitimately have not used in months, which sucks. But I wanted to do today's video just to kind of revisit these things, because whenever I do a video talking about something that I haven't used in a long time, it just comes back to the forefront of my mind and I start remembering to use it and I just fall back in love with it. So hopefully today that will happen with some of these palettes because it's been a long while. Today's makeup look should already be on Instagram, like full details of it. Before we start off, I want to talk about a palette that I actually have been using recently. About a month ago, Deco Scarlet asked me if I'd like to try out their newest palette, and I've actually had some history with Deco Scarlet before. I've talked about them on my channel. They are a palette subscription service, so it used to be every 2 months, but now they're doing it every single month this year. But for $29.95, you basically get a new eyeshadow palette with a different color scheme. This is the edition number 13, the newest one. It's all pastels. It's all this like very beautiful, very spring toned color scheme. It also comes with an add-on item every month. This month, it's this Glazen like glitter gel highlighter. This is definitely a very glittery highlighter. It has kind of like a blue duochrome flip. Very fun, surprisingly good quality. I was kind of expecting it to just like move all my foundation around, but it was actually really nice to work with. It reminded me of like a cream version of the Fenty Diamond highlighter. Every month they partner with a different beauty YouTuber to create a nice color scheme for their newest palettes. I would love to do a palette with them someday. That would be an amazing dream of mine. Prepare for some like grungy ass tones. With their brand, I've actually had some hit and miss with their different palettes. Some months I just didn't love the color scheme. Some months I felt like it performed a little bit differently. This month I was really pleased to find that this was a really good solid palette, and I loved everything in here, especially this beautiful periwinkle blue called Innocence. This is my favorite shade in the palette. Really good. It's hard to find a good formulation of this type of color, but I love how this one performed. I posted a look with this one using the periwinkle on my Instagram, and I was wearing this like purple ponytail. People thought I actually dyed my hair. Really not good quality hair, honestly. I will link it down below so you can check it out, but it's not my favorite, but it was kind of fun to just psych people out.
a liar, a scammer. I love robbery and fraud.
And even though I am partnering with them on this video, I'm super thankful that they were able to let me actually express my full opinions. And that's just awesome. I feel like a lot of brands are like closing themselves off from that and just getting to a place where it's so competitive and weird. And that's not how the beauty community should be. So always gotta applaud brands for being like that. But yeah, I want to thank Deco Scarlet for sponsoring today's video and helping your girl get that bread to pay for school. Now into some palettes that I have been neglecting woefully in my collection. So something I haven't reached for in a really long time, which makes me really sad because this is one of my favorite palettes. And I've gone through stretches of like not using this palette at all for a long time, and then I come back to it, I remember how much I love it, vow to use it again, and then I don't. But the Urban Decay Naked Heat palette, I haven't reached for this in a while, which makes me really sad because it's a really gorgeous color scheme, and genuinely I think it's one of the best palettes Urban Decay's ever done. Unlike Born to Run, which I really didn't enjoy, the mattes in here very consistent, non-patchy, they blend extremely easily. It's a really cohesive color scheme. Granted, you can't really do that much with it, so whenever I reach for this one, I know what kind of look I'm gonna get. It's gonna be warm, kind of terracotta toned, very like reddish orangey, but there's really only like 1 or 2 different looks you can create with this one before it kind of gets like, yeah, okay, we get it. That being said though, I think it's one of the best palettes that they've ever done, and every time I use this one, I'm like, wow, this is a really good, solid, awesome quality palette. I don't know why I don't use this one more often. I have so many warm toned eyeshadows in my collection that it just kind of flies under the radar for me. And I don't want to declutter this one because I do love it so much, and it does bring me a lot of joy, and I love having this one. I just need to remember that I have it. Next up is what I'm wearing on my eyes right now. So the Huda Beauty Emerald Obsessions palette. Actually, pretty much all the Obsessions palettes, the Sapphire one as well. Haven't really reached for these in a while. I bust down, Tatiana. But I haven't reached for this one in a while, especially because I got the ColourPop Just My Luck palette, and it's the same thing.
They're the same picture.
Huda's mattes, you do have to like build them up a lot more. They can get to really bright pigmentedness, and they are easy to blend out. It just, you have to take a long time to get there, whereas ColourPop, I feel like it's just so much easier to build up. There's a lot more pigmentation, but they're still easy to blend out. I do think Huda's shimmers are better, but I've been using this one a lot more often, especially because there is this bright lime green in here, which I really love. Same thing goes for the Amethyst Obsessions. I've just been kind of using the purple one, the ColourPop It's My Pleasure palette, over that one. I just like the quality of these a little bit better than Huda's. So haven't reached for the Obsessions palettes, but I still love these ones, and I think the shimmers in here are amazing. That's kind of why I haven't decluttered it. So Emerald Obsessions, I need to reach for this one more often, and I use it today. Same thing goes for the Sapphire Obsessions. This one doesn't have a dupe in the ColourPop, so I have a different reason for why I haven't used this one in a while. And it's just that the color scheme is shit. Obviously, it's a very blue-toned monochromatic palette, so you can do a nice deep blue-toned look, but also there's this kind of like lime greenish shade in here that doesn't really make sense with the rest of the palette, and this kind of silver shade that doesn't really pull as blue. So again, even though the Emerald Obsession is obviously all green, I feel like you can really do different things with it. There's like the olive greens in here that you can play with, there's the lime greens, there's like a mint green shade, there's deep forest greens. So I've done a bunch of different looks with this one, whereas this one you can really only do like one or two things, and then it's just like, what? So I don't really reach for this one unless I'm going for like a single shade in here. So the navy blue in here I love, and these like deep blue shimmers, so stunning. So I don't really reach for this one as like a, hey, let's create an eye look with this palette. I just kind of reach in here for like one shade. And I do like these ones. I think they're really solid, great palettes, and for $27, bomb. For $12, dude, ColourPop. All the way. I kind of predicted this one, not gonna lie. When I first reviewed the Morphe and Jaclyn Hill Vault collection, I liked them. I didn't think they were bad, and everyone was kind of shitting on them back then. I didn't really agree with the popular opinion, which was that these are awful. I thought they were okay. I didn't think that they were gonna be like my holy grails. The original Jaclyn Hill palette, that really made it into like the depths of my heart, whereas these were just kind of like, yeah, they're fine, but I'm not gonna be reaching for them all that often. And I was right. I haven't reached for these in a long time. Bling Boss I actually reached for a couple months ago to do an eye look on Instagram, and I loved how it turned out. I don't really remember to reach for this one very often, which sucks because I love the shimmers in here. I love the tones. I think they actually perform pretty well, and it's my favorite palette from the Vault collection. I don't know, when I'm thinking like what do I want to do today? I never really think of this palette, and it doesn't really pop into my mind. I feel like the Vault collection, because it was a year ago, and B, it was 4 smaller palettes rather than like one big impactful palette that you can really focus on. They just didn't really have a lot of longevity in my mind. And then the Dark Magic palette, which I really, really do enjoy. I think everyone hated this one, and I was one of the few who like really, really loved this. Still, I haven't really reached for it that much. Probably because I've kind of been moving away from doing really, really dark eyeshadow on myself. I just don't love how dark eyeshadow looks on me all the time. I just feel like it doesn't really suit my like eye shape and face shape that much. Kind of looks a lot like heavier on me. So I don't know, haven't really been reaching for this one that often, so yeah. Unfortunately, the same thing goes for my Ace Beauty Paradise Fallen palette. None of the palettes in this video are palettes I don't like anymore. Like, I really, really do enjoy these palettes, and whenever I like look at them and reach for them, I'm like, wow, it's a beautiful palette. But I haven't really reached for the Paradise Fallen palette for a while, which is sad because these are some of my favorite purples in here. But I've just been kind of like veering away from doing really dark eyeshadow looks. I feel like they just don't really flatter me that much, and that probably will change. Like, I didn't used to think cut creases look good on me, and now I just do cut creases every day. But this palette, I felt like the darker colors were really, really nice for like fall, really rich and really deeply toned. Stopped using this one after a bit and didn't really think to reach for it whenever I wanted to do a purple eye look. And that's okay. I'll probably remember to use this one at some point, but I just haven't really been reaching for it that often. Sad to admit this, but I have not touched my Natasha Denona Joya palette in a while. In a hot minute, and I just did a palette. This has made it through many palette declutters, mostly because it's a $50 palette with 5 shades in it, and I'd feel really bad if I got rid of it with minimal use. But I love the color scheme in here. I think it's a really well done, well put together, very warm toned color scheme that you don't really see a lot of these like berry reds and rich like yellows. It's such a fun. It's like such a fun. In the arms. Did you see that?
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get.
So this shade just fell out. Let's cover it up. I don't know. Something about like 5-pan palettes. I know some people really love smaller pan palettes. Samantha March talks about how she really loves like smaller like 5-pan palettes like this. I think like anything above 8 for me is a good fit, but anything that's super, super small, I feel like I can't really do that much with the palettes. Even though I love this one, there's not really much you can do with the color scheme besides like a red toned look. So you'll probably see me doing a look with this one very soon, but I haven't touched this one in a while, which sucks because it's expensive and it just fell apart on me. We love life.
Oh, hi, thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
I just spent like 20 minutes shoveling Natasha Denona eyeshadow off the ground. Next one hurts more than any of the other ones in this video, and I had a hard time getting my hands on this one. But the Master Palette by Mario by Anastasia Beverly Hills. It's the only like original Anastasia palette in the original Anastasia formula that I still have. I admire Mario so much as a makeup artist. I think he does the most beautiful, understated, insanely glamorous looks on Kim. And this color scheme is so well put together. The formula is bomb. I just don't reach for this one because it's pretty much all shimmers. I wish some of the like more neutral shades in here, especially like some of the top row, could be mattes. It's such a beautiful like earthy toned, really nice palette, and the formula is so buttery smooth and just beautiful. But because whenever I'm going for like a neutral look, I usually reach for soft glam or modern renaissance, or reach for Anastasia's other palettes because I know that if I create a look that I want to share, I can actually be sharing a palette with you guys that you can still buy, whereas this is gone forever. So I cannot wait for the day that KKW and Mario replicate this one, KKW Beauty line, but until then, I will ride hard for this one, just I need to remember to use it more often. Tangentially related to Kim Kardashian, Kylie. I use a Kylie lip kit minimum 3 times a week, slowly fusing into Michaela Long. I haven't used the Kylie purple palette in good couple months. This I keep around because A, this lavender shade is the best lavender I've ever tried in my life, and B, it is a really well put together cool tone palette. I love the formula in here. I didn't think I was going to, but it's surprisingly bomb. Purple mattes are not patchy at all. They're really easy to blend out. They perform beautifully. Truly the only shade I don't like in here is this one here called Amethyst because it's kind of patchy and not that good. It's a very cool tone palette, and I feel like these top 3 shades up here would be a really nice like neutral look. So yeah, I don't really have an answer as to why I don't use this one more often because it's truly gorgeous. Glad that I pulled this one out for this video because I will definitely be putting this to the front of my collection so I can reach for it more often. Another palette from Huda Beauty that I low-key forgot I owned. This was one of my favorites for a really long time, and I still love this one. I think the color scheme is absolutely stunning. I just haven't reached for this one because I've really been enjoying the new nude palette more often, but I often just forget how beautiful this one is. Even though it is more dramatic and there's more like glitters in here, it's a lot more like pow. There's also some really nice neutral shades up here, some really gorgeous neutral shimmers, and some really just like solid warm tone shades. I love the duochromes in here. It's a really good palette. So I think the last time I reached for this one was probably in January. I literally wrote a reminder in my iPhone, do a look with the Huda Beauty Desert Dusk palette because I love this one. And whenever I don't know what to do, like whenever I sit down, I'm like, I need to create an eye look, but I don't know what I want to do, I can usually reach for this one, look at the colors in here, and then I get inspired. So this is a beautiful palette, and I spent
fat money on it,
so I better use it more often. This one I really have no excuse for not using more often because it's not like it's a small palette that I just like forget that I have in my collection. It's a big honker. You can't miss it. The 39A palette by Morphe. I just haven't really touched this one in a while, and here's why. First of all, I always came in here for the indigo blue shade right here, the navy blue, because I didn't own any other navy blues in my collection. And then I went on a hunt for a different navy blues. I found quite a few different ones, and even though this is by far my favorite navy blue, I've been trying out other ones and I just haven't really thought to reach for this. The greens down here I was really loving for a while, but then the Melt Gemini palette came into my life, and honestly, we'll never use greens ever again unless it's from the Gemini palette. Also, if you're wanting some similar greens and you're wanting some good olives, the ColourPop Just My Luck palette, really good option. The berry tone shades in here aren't really anything I don't have in other palettes. Even other like Morphe palettes, I feel like the Jaclyn Hill palette has some really nice like berry tone shades. And then of course like the browns up here and then down the middle have other neutral shades in my collection. So it is a very inspirational palette. It's not like I look at this one and I'm like, wow, I don't really see what I want to do. Especially since the James Charles palette came out, I just stopped using this one. Which sucks because there's this pukey brown here that's really calling my name. Like any color that's the shade of baby shit, I'm down for. Alright, last and definitely least, I have not reached for my single shadows in
a long periodically time.
I've just kind of come to the conclusion that I need to stop buying single eyeshadows. Every time I'm like, okay, I'm gonna depot this palette and then maybe I'll start using it, that's where the palette just goes to die. It goes into my magnetic palette and never comes out again to see the light of day. So in here I have a few pressed glitter shades from Glitter Injections. I have a few AOA singles, a couple ColourPop singles, some Ofra singles. The only time I ever use this one is to go for this inner corner highlight right here, just because I don't have a better place to put it. I'm pressed, honestly, that I don't use this more often because there are some really gorgeous shades in here, and I love these eyeshadows. The reason I depotted them was because I wasn't loving the whole palette, but I wanted to keep a certain shade. So I'm like, I'll put it in my magnetic palette and I'll use it. And I don't. So if you guys have like the same problem and you have any tips to like help me remember to use my single shadows more often, please let me know, because I don't feel inspired ever to pull this one out when I'm creating a look. Even when I'm doing my makeup in the morning, I'm just like, what should I use? A full eyeshadow palette, not my actual singles I've curated and put together and spent a butt ton of money on. But with that, that concludes my 10 palettes I haven't reached for in months video. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Even though it did make me feel kind of low-key very guilty while I was pulling these things out to look at, I think it's going to be a good thing for me, because doing this video will remind me to use these things more often, and hopefully some of these things will kind of come back into the light and not be covered in dust anymore. But yeah, hope you guys have enjoyed this one. I hope it inspires you guys to go back into your collections and just see what you have instead of buying new things. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Make sure you are subscribed down below, and also follow me on Instagram to see makeup looks like this posted in very random intervals. And if you made it to the very end of this video, you get the bonus meme. Love you. Bye.